This is one of the happiest weeks in my calendar year because every day this week I get a chance to spend some time with our school kids. I have visited St. Mary's School in Rome. Yesterday I visited Cristo Rey, our new Jesuit high school. Today I'm here with all of our 8th graders. And tomorrow I'll be at St. John's in Hapeville. So this whole week, I get a chance to be with you. And that fills my heart with a lot of joy. Now, I'm always glad to be with my brother priests, and they're here, and I'm glad they're here, but some of them are here on business because they come from our Catholic high schools, and they're looking at you with that lean, hungry look in their eye, hoping that some of you will become students with them in their high school programs. And I certainly hope that's the case, because they know that our 8th graders will become our freshmen next year in many of our Catholic high schools. And that's my prayer as well. But being with our high school students, especially, or with our grammar school students, especially on the feast of St. John Bosco, reminds me that it's very important that adults realize the potential that is within our young people. Because that's what John Bosco did. He worked with young people in Turin, Italy, and he worked with some of the young people who probably weren't the best kids in the neighborhood, let's face it. But St. John Bosco always believed that within young people there was a great capacity for goodness and for greatness. That's one of the lessons that we even hear in today's gospel. The people in Nazareth, where Jesus grew up, were astonished that as a young man he came back and he had such authority and poise and goodness about him. And they said, "Where did he get it? Where did he get that? We know this kid. We know he grew up here. We remember him when he was a teenager. We know his parents. We know his relatives. Where did he get all of this potential?" And actually, the people in Nazareth refused to believe in him. Why? Because they thought they knew him. They thought they had categorized him. They thought that he simply could be no better than they were. We can never categorize our young people, especially categorizing them as not having the potential to do great things, to become great people, to develop in ways well beyond what we might have imagined them to do. Now, parents, your parents, all parents, sometimes get a little frustrated with their kids. How many of you have heard this phrase? "I don't know where she got that. She didn't get it from my side of the family." Or, Mom says when Dad comes home, "Do you know what your son did today?" That is, sometimes parents, in their great love for you, get frustrated. And they too sometimes forget that within you, God has planted some great potential, some opportunities for growth. St. John Bosco never, or hopefully rarely, forgot that the young people that he worked with had within them great potential. And one of those young people, St. Dominic Savio, one of the young people that John Bosco worked with, himself became a saint. So John Bosco saw in Dominic great potential and helped him to develop that potential, helped him to grow, helped him to advance in holiness. That's what my prayer is, that your parents, even in moments of frustration, never forget the great potential that you have. And that my prayer is that your teachers and the administrators in our school, even when they get frustrated with you, never lose sight that, that kid could do something great. There's something wonderful in that young man. That young woman could become one of the world's best artists or writers or a doctor. John Boscoe, even perhaps in those moments when he was tempted to doubt, when he read and heard this gospel, where did he get all of this? In reference to Jesus. Looked at his young students, his young charges, and he must have said, in looking at them, they must have gotten it from their father.